Hi, today I'm talking to Wayne Lynn, partner at Silk Family Law, covering all aspects of family law. You're an expert in complex cohabitation disputes, including trusts of land cases and prenuptial agreements. I want to discuss cohabitation issues and dispel some of the myths. So, for example, the common law spouses. What's the biggest question that you often get asked in this area of law, Wayne?
Well, the first and most important thing is that the myth of the common law spouse is exactly that. It's a myth. The vast majority of people who walk through my door tend to be someone who's unmarried and they've just split up from their partner and they're wanting to know what property rights they have. Now, the problem is that because there is no such thing as common law spouses, you don't automatically acquire a share in your partner's property just because you've lived with them for a fixed period. So very often the question which is raised is, do I have a share in my partner's property? And I would say that 95% of people who walk through my door are those very people who they've just split up from their partners and they're wanting to know if they're entitled to anything.
So if I've got a financial stake, and I could show that, what happens next?
Well, what happens next is, in order to show that you've got a financial stake, you've got to be able to demonstrate that there has been a joint or a common intention to share ownership of that property. It's not enough to say, I've been living with my partner for 20 years, we've had 3 children, I must be entitled to something. The law doesn't work like that, I'm afraid. Had they been married, then the position would have been entirely different. But when you're unmarried, you've got to show that there was a joint and common intention to share ownership. Now, the next question is, how do you demonstrate that? Well, the first and most obvious thing is, if there's anything in writing, great. We've got a great start because that is an independent document which shows that intention. But usually people don't live like that, and there's nothing in writing. So where there's nothing in writing, we've got to then look at the next best evidence, which is usually conversations that the couple have had, either prior to purchasing the property or subsequently, usually where they say, well, it's ours, we treat it as ours. And if they do that, that's fine. But then you've got to show that the non-owning party has made some sort of financial or money's worth contribution toward the purchase or improvement of the property. Now, typically, this will be things like mortgage payments. That's the classic way to assist in showing that you have a financial stake in the property. But it can be things like paying for an extension or contributing towards an extension or landscaping to the garden or something which adds value. You've got to contrast that with decorating the property, because I'm afraid that the more cosmetic changes, maybe buying furniture or white goods or things like that, will not be enough. But if you can show that you have got the common intention to share, evidenced by that level of contribution, then it may well be that you are able to establish what we lawyers call a beneficial or equitable interest. What we really mean by that is a financial stake in the owner's property. Now, you asked, John, sorry, you asked what happens next. What happens next is basically that we would ask the other party whether they accept that our client, the person who asserts an interest in the property, accepts that the property should be shared. Now, if they accept it should be shared, then that's fine. They can either split the proceeds of sale, or one party can buy the other out. It depends on what their personal preferences are. But what we very often find is that there is some resistance to that, usually because, as one might reasonably expect, if the property's in my name, well, it belongs to me. And at the end of a relationship, when feelings are running high and maybe there isn't a great deal of goodwill between the parties, that's to be expected. So that's when sometimes things have to go a little bit further down the legal route.
Brilliant. Thanks, Wayne. If people are watching and they're wanting some advice, maybe they're wanting to speak to you directly, what's the best place to find you online?
Well, the website is a starting point. It's a great starting point, silkfamilylaw.co.uk. We've got lots of material on the website, which will give you some useful pointers. All of our telephone numbers and email addresses are shown on the website. So give us a call, send us an email. We're very contactable, and we're here and ready to speak if you have a problem.
Great advice. Thanks so much. And I really look forward to chatting to you again. Take care, Wayne. See you soon.
Thanks, Johnny. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.